What's the most unusual hobby you've ever heard of, something that makes you think, wait, what?
I once met someone who was really into collecting air sickness bags. It was quite bizarre.
That's definitely unique. I've never heard of anyone collecting those before. What do you think drives someone to take up such a hobby? Today we're going to explore some common phrases used when talking about hobbies, and you'll learn how to use them in everyday conversations.
That's right, we'll cover phrases like pick up and get into, and I'll explain how to use them correctly, because most learners get the nuances of these phrases completely wrong.
You'll also learn how to use be into and take up, and we'll give you some tips on how to avoid common mistakes when using these phrases. Let's start with pick up. For example, if you pick up a new language, it means you start learning it, but what if you pick up a new sport?
If you pick up a new sport, it means you start playing it, and it can be a great way to get some exercise and have fun, but a common mistake is to use pick up to mean to lift something, which is not the correct usage in this context.
That's a great point, and here's the weird part. Some people pick up hobbies just because their friends are into them, not because they're actually interested. Another phrase is get into. For example, if you get into reading, it means you start enjoying it and doing it regularly, but what if you get into trouble?
If you get into trouble, it means you're in a difficult situation, but when talking about hobbies, get into means to become interested in something, and a common mistake is to use it to mean to physically enter a place, which is not the correct usage.
That's right, and it's interesting to note that people often get into hobbies because they want to challenge themselves or learn something new. Now let's talk about be into. For example, if you're into music, it means you enjoy listening to it and perhaps even playing it, but what if someone asks you what you're into?
If someone asks you what you're into, they're asking about your hobbies or interests, and you can respond by saying I'm into reading or I'm into sports. But a common mistake is to use be into to mean to be physically inside something, which is not the correct usage.
That's a great point, and here's the weird part. Some people are into hobbies that seem really strange to others, but that's what makes them unique. Another phrase is take up. For example, if you take up painting, it means you start doing it as a hobby, but what if you take up too much space?
If you take up too much space, it means you're occupying too much room. But when talking about hobbies, take up means to start doing something, and a common mistake is to use it to mean to lift something up, which is not the correct usage.
That's right, and it's interesting to note that people often take up hobbies because they want to relax or express themselves creatively. Let's not forget give it a go. For example, if you give tennis a go, it means you try playing it to see if you like it, but what if you give up on something?
If you give up on something, it means you stop trying, but when talking about hobbies, give it a go means to try something new, and a common mistake is to use it to mean to give something to someone, which is not the correct usage.
That's a great point, and here's the weird part. Some people give up on hobbies too quickly, without even giving them a chance. Finally, let's talk about have a blast. For example, if you have a blast at a party, it means you have a great time. But what if you have a blast playing a sport?
If you have a blast playing a sport, it means you really enjoy it and have fun doing it, and it's a great way to describe a positive experience, but a common mistake is to use have a blast to mean to have an explosion, which is not the correct usage.
That's right, and it's interesting to note that people often have a blast when they're doing something they love, and that's what makes hobbies so rewarding. Let me summarize what we've learned today. If you pick up a new hobby, you might get into it and start to enjoy it, then you can give it a go and see if you like it, and if you do, you can take up the hobby and have a blast doing it.
That's right, and today's challenge is to use one of these phrases in a comment below. Tell us about a hobby you've picked up or gotten into, and don't forget to explain why you enjoy it.
If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to tune in tomorrow when we'll be talking about English for travel, and I'll give you a sneak peek. We'll be discussing phrases like check-in and check-out.
If you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe for daily English practice, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, so you can stay up to date on all our latest videos.
Tomorrow we'll be exploring some common phrases used when traveling, and you won't want to miss it, so be sure to join us then.